From downtown Detroit, Local 4 Live starts right now.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us here on Local 4 Live. I'm Nick Monticelli. Plenty of conversations happening in the next 2 hours. Hold on to your hats as the kiddos get ready for trick or treating. Brian is tracking some howling winds for you on your Halloween. And tomorrow, SNAP funding ends, leaving millions of Americans in limbo when it comes to food assistance. We're talking with the director of the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services about what is next for people impacted here. And as kids get ready for trick-or-treating, one Metro Detroit community is putting Halloween on pause, but just for a day. We're going to bring you a story that's trending right now on clickondetroit.com. We're going to start, though, with your Halloween forecast. It is a windy day across Metro Detroit, and the winds will stick around for trick-or-treating tonight. The good news is it's going to be dry, no rain. Temperatures are going to be in the 50s, but at the start of trick-or-treating, it's going to dip into the 40s as it gets dark, and the winds are going to be an issue. As you can see, the ghost swirling around on your screen right now. Meteorologist Brian Sherman will be here later with your full weekend forecast. Now to our team coverage on the fight over funding for food. We're going to start in Washington, D.C., where the federal government shutdown is expected to go into another week. Neither chamber of Congress is in session as SNAP benefits expire tomorrow. As Alice Bauer reports, President Trump may have just changed things overnight.
Good morning. 1 month in, the shutdown's consequences are becoming much more real. And while lawmakers say individual members are having good bipartisan discussions, this morning leadership at the very top is only escalating the fight. President Trump overnight throwing a major curveball into the shutdown showdown, calling on Republicans to go for the nuclear option, to get rid of the filibuster and get rid of it now. Doing that would let GOP members pass a short-term funding bill to reopen the government with a simple 50-vote majority instead of the 60 needed now. The Senate's top Republican has publicly opposed changing the filibuster, instead urging more Democrats to cross over and back the bill.
We have a few already. We need 5 Democrats with a backbone.
Democratic leadership holding firm on restoring health care provisions.
The American people understand that there's a Republican health care crisis.
That amid a deepening food insecurity crisis. The emergency response organization World Central Kitchen, now in D.C., helping feed federal workers who are missing paychecks.
I wish people in power understood that we are much closer to poverty than a lot of folks outside of D.C. Perhaps don't understand or don't know.
And now SNAP, food assistance, is set to expire on Saturday, ripping a lifeline away from low-income Americans. Democrats pushing for a standalone bill using contingency funds to extend those benefits.
No president has ever stopped these funds from flowing in a shutdown.
Republicans rejecting blame, accusing Democrats of a political bid
To insulate themselves from the consequences of their own actions.
Now, as the consequences grow, one Republican senator proposing a constitutional amendment to stop lawmakers' pay while the shutdown drags on. Many states are trying to use state funds to bridge the gap on food assistance. California deployed its National Guard to help at food banks, and 25 states filed a lawsuit that would force the federal government to use emergency funds to keep SNAP running. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Alice, thank you. Michigan is one of those 25 states involved in that lawsuit. It comes as the state is getting ready for a spike in demand for help with food. Now, more than 1.4 million Michiganders are SNAP recipients. Michigan ranks 13th out of 51 in terms of its population receiving SNAP benefits. On Thursday, the state Senate approved a bill to provide $71 million in food assistance, but the state's House Speaker is signaling that he will block that bill, calling it fake, performative, and political. That came as Governor Whitmer announced $4.5 million in aid to the Food Bank Council of Michigan. That money will be spread to food banks and food assistance programs here in the state. Joining me right now is Dr. Elizabeth Hertel with the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. Thank you so much for joining us here. Let's start with the SNAP benefits. I know that you must be maybe frustrated in terms of what's happening in D.C. and not getting this much needed money to the Michiganders that direly need it.
Our focus remains on ensuring that people have access to healthy food, starting with that $4.5 million that we were able to transfer to the Food Bank Council yesterday. We continue to explore different options for funding and access to healthy food for those across the state who may be missing those SNAP benefits this month.
So as the State Department that it kind of oversees the benefit program once it gets to Michiganders, can you kind of walk us through what the next 24 hours are going to look like? When those benefits end at midnight, people will have essentially whatever is left in their account and then it goes dry?
They will have whatever is left on their EBT card. They can use whatever is left on their EBT card. We also have access to the Double Up Food Bucks, which is a program through the Department of Agriculture through a grant that is been extended, so there is no limit on what people can double up, and they can use those benefits on we've expanded that to frozen vegetables and other types of things to help increase the amount of dollars that people have to purchase healthy food. But after those benefits are gone, if people have them, we will not be getting further funding transferred from the federal government at this point for SNAP benefits.
Right. I know there obviously is the lawsuit right now. Is there anything the state can do in terms of adding more of its own money into those accounts?
States can use their state dollars to do that. Whether or not we have the funding available in Michigan, I'm not sure. I don't believe that we do at this point, but we continue to look for options, again, internally to see how we might be able to supplement access to healthy food, whether that's through food banks or trying to connect philanthropy and other donors to those sorts of access points.
And I know one of the challenges is if you do choose to use state funds to supplement what you're not getting from Washington, the feds will not reimburse you. Is that right?
They've been very specific with us and other states that they will not reimburse you for any funding that you use to supplement the missing SNAP benefits. That's true.
Okay. So looking at the $4.5 million that the governor, and I'm sure you worked hard with her to get this funding put in towards the Food Council, I actually have a list I'd like to put up right now of the food banks that will affect here in Southeast Michigan and Metro Detroit. That's the Gleaners Community Food Bank of Southeast Michigan, which they have centers, of course, in Detroit, Taylor, Howell, and Pontiac. Then there's Forgotten Harvest in Oak Park, serving Oak Park, Oakland, Macomb, and Wayne counties, and Food Gatherers of Ann Arbor. Can you kind of explain what that process is going to be? I know that will go to the Food Council, and then that money will start to trickle into the local food banks. How long do you think that will take? And are they going to restock basically as soon as possible?
Well, we were able to get those dollars transferred yesterday to the Food Bank Council, so I'm sure that they are moving as quickly as they can to get those distributed to the local access points, and that they'll be working with their local retailers to get as much food as possible available for individuals. People can also call 211 if they have questions about where they might be able to access some of those food banks.
$4.5 million, of course, is a lot of money and sounds like a lot of money towards food banks, but in reality, that's really just a drop in the bucket in terms of what people actually need, especially when SNAP runs out.
The amount of money that we are not getting for SNAP benefits for November is $265 million. So $265 million is an incredible amount of money to try to supplement for access to food for people in the state. So we'll continue to explore different options, work again with our philanthropy community and others to try to make sure that everybody has access to healthy food this month.
Gosh. What is your advice to anybody watching who is counting down, looking at the clock, realizing that whatever's left in their account is all they're going to have for a while? What do you say to them as they try to navigate the next couple of weeks or months if we don't get any additional federal funding?
I would recommend that they start with calling 211 to find out the resources that they have locally for access to food. I would remind everybody who has children in school that we are still paying for school breakfast and school lunch. So you do have options there for meals for children. And again, we will continue to explore different ways that we might be able to get food out to those individuals who won't be getting those additional SNAP benefits this month.
On the flip side of that, there are a lot of generous people here in Metro Detroit, and there's a lot of money money to be had in some of our business and organizations. If someone would like to donate to whether it be a local food bank or even to a larger food council or to the state to help distribute more money, can they do that, and how do they do that?
I would recommend that people donate directly to either their local food bank or the Food Bank Council, and they can do that through their websites. The Food Bank Council of Michigan has an option to donate right on their website, and I would encourage people to do that.
Yeah, I know there are so many things that you and your department work on. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of programs, but I would imagine, of course, correct me if I'm wrong, that when you are looking at people not having enough money to put food on the table, that probably is what is keeping you up at night right now.
Access to healthy food is fundamental for every positive outcome that we have, for children being successful in school, for children staying healthy, for people being able to go to work and be productive. It is just a vital piece of living a healthy life, and not having access to these benefits for 1.4 million people in the state is incredibly concerning. And you're absolutely right. It is keeping me up at night.
Yeah. Okay. Dr. Hertel, thank you so much for your time this morning. We appreciate you kind of putting things in context for us, especially realizing that number, 200, I think you said $265 million not coming in, and that's just one month. Who knows what the next couple of weeks are going to look like?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. As we mentioned, we are getting a look at what organizations are doing to help these Michigan families. Shantae Passmore was at the Capital Services Center this morning with a look at how that group is lending a helping hand.
Right now, all eyes are looking towards Congress to act now. In the meantime, we know that state lawmakers here in Michigan are trying to bridge the gap. But the reality is a lot of area groups and organizations, they're going to have to be on the front lines to help SNAP recipients when those benefits dry up tomorrow. And joining me right now is Brother Fred.
Hello.
Hi, you are the Director of Social Services here at the Capuchin Services Center. Let's talk about the need that you're seeing right now.
Yeah, we're seeing a 15% increase in new guests that are coming through our door. I mean, we're seeing also 200 to 250 families a day coming through this. On average, we're at about 175. That number is starting to increase every day.
Double digits now.
Yeah.
So initially, it was just people who were fallen on hard times,
Right.
and then it was the furlough employees,
Yep.
and now it's the SNAP recipients.
Now it's the SNAP recipients.
So how does this work here at the Free Choice Food Pantry?
So as you can see here on the shelves, every guest that comes in is able to get anywhere from 40 to 80 pounds of food. They get to choose what items they want. And then once they've gotten these items, which all of these items we purchase from Gleaners, and then they're able to get what we call bonus items, and that's where the fresh produce comes in, the milk, the eggs, all that kind of stuff, and all of that is donated. And so then we have the fresh produce where they're able to come and just grab as much as they want most of the time.
And so real quick, look, these shelves don't stock themselves. How
No,
can
they
people
don't.
get into the mix if they want to help?
Yeah, volunteers are really crucial for us, especially right now, because like by that 11, 12 o'clock hour, these shelves are going to be completely empty. And so having those volunteers coming in to stock the shelves, because the staff are working with the guests and don't always have the time to be able to stock the shelves. So that's where volunteers are really helpful for us.
Oh, thank you so much for your time, Brother
you're
Fred.
welcome. Thank you for coming
You know,
out.
the need is great at this hour, and we appreciate all the work you do for our
thank you.
community.
Thank you.
We're going to send things back over to you in the studio.
All right, Shantae, thank you very much. We've got breaking news in our newsroom just a few minutes ago. The FBI says it has thwarted a potential terror attack here in Michigan. Take a look at this tweet from FBI Director Kash Patel. He says multiple suspects were arrested for plotting a violent attack over Halloween weekend. Dearborn police just also posted an update to Facebook saying they were made aware of FBI operations in the city earlier this morning. They say there is no threat to the community right now. Honestly, we don't know much more than that. But again, the director saying they have thwarted a terrorist attack in Michigan, and he says more details will be coming. Of course, we're going to follow this over the next 2 hours and continue to bring you updates as we get them here into the newsroom. We're going to take a short break, and we come back more on what's happening across Metro Detroit and all of Michigan. Well, it is Halloween night, but one city in our area is pushing off things until tomorrow. This is a look at Marine City in St. Clair County, I should say. They have decided to move their trick-or-treating hours to Saturday night from 5 to 8. The mayor says the move is because of a high school playoff game that's actually happening tonight. Marine City's varsity football team is taking on Clawson at 7 o'clock. That decision is getting some mixed reaction from people online, though. Let's take you around Metro Detroit this Halloween to bring you the other trick-or-treating times in other communities that are sticking with Friday night. You're looking live at Belleville right now, where that city is recommending people go out from 5 until 7 tonight. In Southfield in Oakland County, they're recommending you go out a little later from 6 to 8. The city is also recommending people avoid going out alone and bring a flashlight so you can be seen. In Detroit, trick-or-treating really varies by precinct, and there are lots of Halloween and the D events happening from 4 to 8. Those events are held at different police precincts, recreation centers, and fire stations around the city. We're going to be talking with organizers in our next half hour. We've actually compiled a list of trick-or-treating times at spots all around Metro Detroit. You can check it out right now at clickondetroit.com. If you need a good haunt for Halloween, you might already be in the right place. Coming up, where Michigan ranks in the most haunted states in the country when we come back. Oh, no! They get so much joy out of that. Mary enjoys that clip more than she likes the slide. Well, sometimes you do need a good scare this Halloween, but did you know Michigan is one of the most haunted places around? According to Travel and Leisure, the online gambling platform Play Casino, Michigan is the 4th haunted state in the country. Now, how did we get to that ranking? The report analyzed reported ghost sightings using data from the Ghosts of America. Apparently, Michigan had nearly 2,500 ghost sightings. The states ahead of us are Texas with nearly 7,000 sightings, followed by California and Ohio. Very scientific data indeed. You know who does like science? Brian Sherman with your forecast. Hey, B.
Happy Halloween, everybody. I'm forewarned meteorologist Brian Sherman. Looking ahead through the end of the week here on Friday, we are going to keep a little more cloud cover into the forecast throughout the day, although we will see some sunshine through the morning into the early afternoon. I am going to bring the chance of a few rain showers in, looking ahead to start the weekend on Saturday before a little more sunshine rolls in by the end of the weekend on Sunday. A chilly start for this Halloween across the board for the majority of southeastern Michigan, mid to upper 30s, even a few lower 40s 40s showing up as you're waking up early this morning, and we will keep things seasonable but chilly as we head into the afternoon. Dry weather sticks around for the end of the week here on Friday. I'm watching an area of low pressure working off to the north and east up toward portions of Vermont into Maine. Some of that cloud cover on the backside of it here spilling right into southeastern Michigan. So while we start the day with sunshine, we will bring more cloud cover in as we go through the afternoon and evening hours tonight. Clouds and radar forecast agrees with this, increasing cloud cover through the afternoon into the early evening hours tonight, but we stay dry all the way through the overnight into early on Saturday morning. 7:15 on Saturday morning, while we start the day dry, clouds and radar forecast is not as zealous with the rain showers than I would look to see for Saturday. 11:45 in the morning, a few rain showers possible. I don't think this is going to be a widespread event to start the weekend, but we will need to hold on to the umbrella just in case. But any rain showers wind down by 8 to 9 o'clock on Saturday night. We'll go partly cloudy overnight, and we will keep some of that cloud cover with some sunshine into the forecast by the end of the weekend on Sunday. Winds will continue to be breezy for the rest of the day today, gusting upwards of 25 to 30 miles an hour, especially through the rest of the afternoon and into the evening hours tonight. But once we get past 8 to 10 o'clock tonight, I am expecting those winds to start to slack off just a little bit into the overnight hours and into the start of the weekend on Saturday. We'll top out at 54 this afternoon, a mixture of sunshine and clouds up into early this afternoon. Then we start to increase that cloud cover, and it'll be breezy. Northwest wind 10 to 20 miles an hour, gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour for much of the day today. So it's going to make it feel just a tad bit chillier than it actually is outside. And then we go into trick-or-treating tonight. We'll keep mostly cloudy skies into the forecast. It will be drier, but it will be breezy. So again, you may need that jacket on top of that Halloween costume if you are going to be doing that trick-or-treating heading into the late evening hours tonight. Holding on to a few showers tomorrow, but then Sunday morning at 2 a.m., daylight saving time comes to an end. We will fall back 1 hour early on Sunday morning, giving us that extra hour of sleep. We will see some sunshine for the end of the weekend on Sunday before another round of rain showers moves in to start the week on Monday, but then some sunshine moves in on Tuesday, and we keep a mixture of sunshine and clouds into the forecast, highs dropping into the mid-50s by the time we get to next Thursday.
All right, Brian, thank you, sir. Families are getting ready for some Halloween fun today. Next, we're talking about the major effect from the city of Detroit as Halloween gets underway. I'm Nick Monticelli with breaking news into the newsroom. Right now, we are working to learn more about a potential terror attack here in Michigan that was stopped by the FBI this morning. Just after 7:30 a.m., FBI Director Kash Patel tweeted saying agents thwarted an attack and have arrested multiple people. The Dearborn Police Department confirmed FBI operations took place in Dearborn this morning. Patel says there are more details to come. As soon as we get some more of those details, we will bring them to you. Also join us for another 90 minutes of Local 4 Live over on Local 4 Plus. Next, we're talking about the massive volunteer effort underway for Halloween in the D as kids get ready to trick or treat. And then we're going to hear from the candidates for Detroit mayor as they begin the final push for Detroit votes. Finally, this weekend we will be getting an extra hour of sleep, but could that be impacting your health? We're going to talk with the neurologist from Henry Ford Health. And Brian is back with a look at your Halloween forecast. Maybe not rainy or cold, but pretty windy.
Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
And that breaking news is the FBI saying it has thwarted a potential terror attack here in Michigan. Here's everything we know right now. The FBI director says multiple suspects were arrested for plotting a violent attack over this holiday weekend. He says more details will be coming. And also, Dearborn Police put out this update on Facebook saying they were made aware of FBI operations in the city earlier this morning. They say there is no threat to the community. We're making calls here in the newsroom on the assignment desk as we speak. As we get more information, we're going to bring it to you here live, and we'll continue to get you updates on clickondetroit.com as well. We're also sending push alerts to your phone device, your mobile device, so you can get the information in the palm of your hands. Well, in 4 days, Detroiters are going to be heading to the polls to pick a new Detroit mayor. Mary Sheffield and Solomon Kinlock Jr. are making their final pitches ahead of Election Day. They both were talking at the Detroit Economic Club yesterday in a panel moderated by our own Jason Coulthorpe. Over the next couple of hours, we're going to bring you portions of that conversation so you can hear better and maybe make a decision on who you might be voting for. Take a listen.
As a native Detroiter, I've given my entire life to serving Detroit. 12 years ago, when businesses and people were packing up their bags to leave Detroit, I made a very conscious decision to step up and to serve this city. And for over a decade, I have dedicated my life to serving Detroit, leading with integrity, compassion, and action. Working alongside this administration, our current mayor, and my city council members on the council, we have made tremendous progress. We have improved city services. We've reduced crime. We've invested in numerous parks and recreational centers. We've allocated millions of dollars to beautification and infrastructure projects. We've paved the way for $1 billion being invested into affordable housing. And we've had record investments in economic development projects that have created hundreds and thousands of jobs for Detroiters. And so while I acknowledge the progress that we've made, because it does take real leadership to get things done, I also equally acknowledge that there's still far much more work to do. And that is why I am running for mayor, to ensure that opportunity reaches every neighborhood of our city and every family of our city as well. And to ensure that good housing, safe, stable, quality housing is available, that our educational outcomes for our students are improved, that our neighborhoods are invested in, and that safety is a right and not a privilege, and also that we are providing more support for our transit system in Detroit. So I'm prepared to get the work done. I bring a record of doing that, and I'm excited to make sure that Detroit continues to rise higher.
Excellent. Something I want to get out of the way right out of the gate, and this is more out of fairness, because I have a sneaking suspicion your opponent's going to bring this up. The Free Press dropped a story yesterday about donors that you have to your campaign that have checkered legal pasts. I'd like to give you a chance to respond to that article, and the question, I guess, being, are you okay with campaign donations from anyone?
So we have thousands of donors that donate to our campaign. We released a statement on this as well. Some of the individuals that were mentioned are upstanding individuals in this city who have actually donated to numerous elected officials on the city, state, and federal level. Some of them currently serve in positions and boards with the city of Detroit. And so I do believe in second chances. We do our best to ensure that we are monitoring the numerous donations that we have, and we are confident in what we disclose. We follow all of our campaign finance laws, and we will continue to do that.
All right. Let's talk about collaboration and accountability. Detroit's business leaders want to be part of shaping the city's future. How will you engage and collaborate with the business community to set measurable goals for growth, for inclusion, and city improvement? And also, how are you going to hold yourself accountable in that process?
Yeah, so we know that business needs people and people need business. And I don't think that it always has to be this divisive rhetoric between the two. We need each other in order for Detroit to thrive. And I believe that we also have a lot of work to do to ensure that we are cultivating a business-friendly environment in Detroit. One of the biggest issues that I hear in Detroit is that oftentimes the perception and reputation of Detroit being open for business is that it's difficult to get things done and that there's so much bureaucracy and red tape. And so I have been very clear that I would be a mayor that ensures that Detroit is the best place in America to grow and start a business. And so we want to eliminate as many regulations as possible, streamline some of our city processes to ensure that we're really fostering an ecosystem for businesses to be able to thrive. We know that when businesses thrive, they're providing the services that we need for our residents, whether it's housing or projects. And so we also want to ensure that our residents are making livable wages, that they're thriving here in the city of Detroit as well. And so we will continue to foster that environment to ensure that our residents are properly trained, that they're getting access to the jobs that are available, that we're investing in workforce development opportunities, and that the both are coexisting and that we're supporting both business and people.
Any specific names you might have in mind that you want to partner with, companies or philanthropists that?
Well, all of them. I believe that, this next phase in Detroit is going to be rooted in strong partnerships with collaborating in partnerships. And so, any good actors in Detroit that want to step up and contribute to the numerous priorities that Detroiters have laid out, whether it's neighborhood investment, better housing, our educational system and workforce development, transit, we will be willing and ready to work with them to figure out how we can all work together to better the city of Detroit.
As I sit here today, I'm reminded of Alice in Wonderland as she came to a fork in the middle of the road. And she had a conversation with Cheshire the cat. And they asked the question, where do you want to go? And she was asked, where did she want to end up? She didn't know where she wanted to end up. And the response was, if you don't know where you want to end up, then it really doesn't matter which way you go. Detroit is at a pivotal point. At the end of the day, we have a poverty rate that's the highest since 2017. We have the majority of our children, and we have to open our eyes to that. The majority of our children in our community are living in poverty. We have the second highest violent crime rate in the nation, and 3 out of 4 people are struggling to find affordable housing. At some point, we have to admit that institutional politicians have failed us, and we have to step up and stand up and do it for ourselves. For 27 years, I have been doing that. This is not an addition to what I've been doing. This is an extension of the work that I've already been doing. And as I seek the position of mayor for the city of Detroit, I will continue to do, because if I can do that with a church from Southwest Detroit, just think what I could do with the 11th floor.
Let's start with collaboration and accountability. Yes. Detroit's business leaders want to be part of shaping the city's future. How will you engage and collaborate with the business community to set measurable goals for growth, for inclusion, for city improvement, and how will you hold yourself accountable on those results?
Well, it's something that I've already been doing. During COVID, I didn't wait on anybody else to stand up. I partnered with Mike Fresh Market on 7 Mile and Livernois. And when we were wrestling with food scarcity, we were allocating $50,000 to $100,000 every week to buy groceries to give out to thousands of families. And so when we take children out to 6 Mile store and give them exposure and experience, and when we've kept people in their home by paying rent and utilities, that's not something that we just started doing collaborating. That's something that we will continue to do. Our Office of Philanthropy would be the excellent way in order to get that done, because we have some of the greatest philanthropic and corporate partners in the city of Detroit. We will continue to leverage that, not making sure that we're not just giving money, but we are using the money to make substantive and systematic change. The second thing is interesting that you talk about accountability, particularly right now when there's the cloud hanging over my opponent that is just coming to the forefront. When you're seated at the table and over $60 million of contracts are being given out, and you're not disclosing conflict of interest, that is a reminder of where we just came from, and we can't go back to nothing that looks like that.
The partnerships you mentioned going forward, any names that pop out that we should know about, like big names, big corporations you'd like to partner with if you're mayor?
I mean, we already see them at the forefront. Just look at what Kresge is doing over in the Mayoral district with the school and with the community. That's just a start. We don't just want that to be the end all. That should be what we see multiplied throughout the city and throughout the districts.
All right, you're going to hear more from those candidates in our next hour, talking about how they're going to help the neighborhoods and make Detroit a place that young people want to live. In fact, join us Tuesday night for 10 o'clock for a special edition of Local 4 News. We're going to have live updates from the Detroit's mayoral race and break down the big issues across Metro Detroit. Tune in at 10 o'clock on Local 4 Plus and click on Detroit.com, and then stay with us for the news starting at 11 o'clock. Well, families are getting ready for some Halloween fun today. Next, we're going to talk about the major effort in the city of Detroit as Halloween in the D is happening today. The organizer behind all the people working it when we come back. Welcome back to Local 4 Live, everybody. I hope you're having a happy Halloween so far, just a couple of hours into it as you wake up. The celebrations today are going to vary from city to city, town to town, neighborhood to neighborhood. But right now, we're going to talk about kind of the biggest one in Detroit, Halloween in the D and all the Motor City has to offer. Tony Stovall is here. She works with the Department of Neighborhoods in the city of Detroit and coordinates all the volunteers to make all that happen. Thank you for joining us. I can't imagine what your past couple of months have been like trying to plan this event.
It's been a busy time, but a ton of fun. We just get a ton of support from the residents, the community, our local business partners that come out. And everybody just, again, we always say it's for the child and the child at heart. So, it's just a really good time.
For all of us.
Yes, it's for all of us.
I know there's a lot of volunteers that make it happen, and I want to talk about them, but let's just kind of start with a rundown of the day because, there are so many things going on. It really depends kind of neighborhood by neighborhood, block by block.
Yes. So, we started packing. So volunteers have started already doing stuff last week. We packed candy. So we did over 5,000 bags of candy that have been distributed. Those go to our fire engine houses, and then we sort and separate candy. Our volunteers do all of that legwork. Last week, it's now been delivered to our police precincts and our rec centers.
Okay.
And so that's just kind of that's been sorted and divvied up. Today, we're just going around making sure all of the sites are just set up right, checking in with them if there's any last minute needs. We've been communicating with our volunteers all this week, and they'll get there this afternoon and set up in preparation for all the big kickoff starts at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
So we've got over close to 30 different venues that people can go to across the city.
It's trunk or treats basically in precincts, firehouses, rec centers. Like there's a list.
Every police precinct, one fire engine house per district. Every rec center is also activated as well with inside activities. And so we've also merged a few, and those are like big hubs. So Chandler Park Dome, the new exciting, beautiful space on the east side, will be activated. We'll actually have a basketball clinic that's hosted by the Motor City Crew today. Yeah, so they'll be there. Then our Adams Butzel Recreation Center on the west side. And then we also have Walker Williams, one of our new recreation centers. Coleman A. Young will also be a joint site. But go to halloweeninthed.org, and everything is right there for you.
Okay.
Yes.
Going back to our day, it seems like this is probably better than trick-or-treating in your neighborhood now.
It's so fun. You can do so much. You've got inflatables, you've got different face painting, we've got amazing partners that are literally activating their trunk. It's not even just trunks anymore. They bring out the big guns. Also, all of our city departments get involved. It's a little healthy competition.
Okay.
And so, last year our water department won. Their theme was so cute. It was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. How cute is that, right?
Yeah, right.
They won.
Since they live in the sewers,
right.
I see what they did there.
Cute. So everybody just gets excited. So the kids literally have and families,
How many kids do you expect?
We anticipate between 30 and 40,000
oh my
residents
gosh.
coming out. And with it being on a Friday, kids don't have school tomorrow, so
That's a lot of Snickers bars.
It's a lot of Snickers bars, a lot of Twizzlers, a lot of fun, but a lot of just joy.
Yeah.
In these days we can count every moment that we're just really just having fun, and it's such a good day.
All right, shout out to all the volunteers making this happen. How does that coordination work?
We have an amazing database of volunteers that just reach out. So our block clubs, our community associations, and then again our corporate partners that are just excited and reach out like, hey, we're excited, can we volunteer? So we send out months in advance. They register, they can choose what location they want to go to or what day, if they wanted to do the candy packing ahead of time. And then we just follow up and we share their assignments. We encourage them to also bring their own candy as well, but then also, just get creative and come in your costume and have a good time. Again, the times vary from 4 to 8, some 5 to 7.
Yep.
And they just come out and show up in numbers.
How many volunteers do you know?
We typically see between 600 and 700 volunteers.
Oh my gosh! So that many volunteers,
our police,
30 to 40,000 kids, all the police, fire people that are already there at the precincts, right?
Absolutely.
Any idea how many pieces of candy? Because you wrap 5,000 bags.
Oh, we count down to the piece. So we, as of right now, we're at over 1 million pieces of candy.
Get out of here.
That we personally have counted. That does not include what other volunteers will bring.
Right.
Yes. And
a million
I still
pieces
gotta go pick up
of
more candy when I leave here.
Okay, one quick reminder then, if you want to go to one of these, you can find all the information on your website.
Yes, on HalloweenInTheD.org has all of the information. Our social media channels, City of Detroit, Detroit Don, City of Detroit Don has all the information. You can see all the flyers, every location is listed.
Awesome.
All the fun.
Thank you so much. Happy Halloween.
Thank you. Happy
A million
Halloween.
pieces of candy. Such good. All right. Good luck with everything happening tonight. And of course, everybody have a safe and happy Halloween. When we come back, make sure you grab the costumes, get the popcorn, because we're going to take a look at Salem, Massachusetts. If you're looking for a good spooky movie to throw on for the family after trick-or-treating, we've got your list of the best when we come back. Let's take a live look at Salem, Massachusetts, the official spooky capital of the world. And if you're looking for Halloween movies that are kid-friendly, not too scary, Rotten Tomatoes has spooked up a list for you. First up is Coco, a colorful celebration of family and the Day of the Dead that is sure to warm your ghostly heart. Then there's Spirited, not your typical haunting, but a funny twist on holiday spirits. Monster Inc. brings the laughs from the scariest monsters who just want to be friends. And don't forget Wallace and Gromit, the curse of the were-rabbit, where a rabbit causes more trouble than any haunting. And finally, the classic, Who Are You Gonna Call? Ghostbusters. What about Hocus Pocus? Too scary? Could be. I don't know. Brian Sherman has your Halloween forecast, which is more windy than cold.
Happy Halloween, everybody. I'm forewarned meteorologist Brian Sherman. Looking ahead through the end of the week here on Friday, we are going to keep a little more cloud cover into the forecast throughout the day, although we will see some sunshine through the morning into the early afternoon. I am going to bring the chance of a few rain showers in, looking ahead to start the weekend on Saturday before a little more sunshine rolls in by the end of the weekend on Sunday. A chilly start for this Halloween across the board for the majority of southeastern Michigan. Mid to upper 30s, even a few lower 40s showing up as you're waking up early this morning, and we will keep things seasonable but chilly as we head into the afternoon. Dry weather sticks around for the end of the week here on Friday. I'm watching an area of low pressure working off to the north and east up toward portions of Vermont into Maine. Some of that cloud cover on the backside of it here spilling right into southeastern Michigan. So while we start the day with sunshine, we will bring more cloud cover in as we go through the afternoon and evening hours tonight. Clouds and radar forecast agrees with this. Increasing cloud cover through the afternoon into the early evening hours tonight, but we stay dry all the way through the overnight into early on Saturday morning. 7:15 on Saturday morning, while we start the day dry, clouds and radar forecast is not as zealous with the rain showers than I would look to see for Saturday. 11:45 in the morning, a few rain showers possible. I don't think this is going to be a widespread event to start the weekend, but we will need to hold on to the umbrella just in case. But any rain showers showers wind down by 8 to 9 o'clock on Saturday night. We'll go partly cloudy overnight, and we will keep some of that cloud cover with some sunshine into the forecast by the end of the weekend on Sunday. Winds will continue to be breezy for the rest of the day today, gusting upwards of 25 to 30 miles an hour, especially through the rest of the afternoon and into the evening hours tonight. But once we get past 8 to 10 o'clock tonight, I am expecting those winds to start to slack off just a little bit into the overnight hours and into the start of the weekend on Saturday. We'll top out at 54 this afternoon, a mixture of sunshine and clouds up into early this afternoon. Then we start to increase that cloud cover, and it'll be breezy. Northwest wind 10 to 20 miles an hour, gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour for much of the day today. So it's going to make it feel just a tad bit chillier than it actually is outside. And then we go into trick-or-treating tonight. We'll keep mostly cloudy skies into the forecast. It will be drier, but it will be breezy. So again, you may need that jacket on top of that Halloween costume if you are going to be doing that trick-or-treating heading into the late evening hours tonight. Holding on to a few showers tomorrow, but then Sunday morning at 2 a.m., daylight saving time comes to an end. We will fall back 1 hour early on Sunday morning, giving us that extra hour of sleep. We will see some sunshine for the end of the weekend on Sunday before another round of rain showers moves in to start the week on Monday, but then some sunshine moves in on Tuesday, and we keep a mixture of sunshine and clouds into the forecast, highs dropping into the mid-50s by the time we get to next Thursday.
All right, B, thank you, sir. Our danger zone investigations have taken us all around Metro Detroit this weekend. Today, we're checking out a stretch of road in Warren. Residents and police agree part of Van Dyke is becoming too dangerous even for people not behind the wheel. Welcome back. Today is part 5 of our investigations into danger zones around Metro Detroit. This morning, we've covered Livonia, Wayne, Rochester Hills, and Detroit's west side. Today, we go to Warren, where residents have been complaining the excessive speeds on Van Dyke between 11 and 12 Mile. That's a real problem, and it turns out the Warren Police Department agrees.
Oh man, it is so awful.
Warren resident Yana Lewis says Van Dyke near 696 is more like a drag strip.
They're speeding all the time because they're trying to gun around and cut in. It's always a lot of accidents in this area.
And she's not wrong.
And so this black car here, he's 51 in the right line. Yep. 51 and a 35.
Warren Motor Officer Rob Hamilla says he could stand here all day long writing tickets.
That's 50, that Dodge Journey, lane number 3.
After tickets.
So that white car there is 50 miles an hour.
After tickets. The issue? On Van Dyke, north of 12 Mile, the speed limit goes up to 45 miles per hour. But south of 12 Mile, it's 35, all the way down to Detroit.
You have to be aware of where you're at and what the speed limit is. But a lot of this is based off of the size of the road, how close the buildings are. We do have some residential in this area with the apartments, so there is a lower speed limit here. This isn't 50 miles an hour.
But the bigger issue is lots of people trying to cross the street. 11 Mile at Van Dyke is actually the most dangerous intersection for pedestrians.
The faster you're going, the longer it takes to stop. And so again, while it may seem only 10 miles an hour, when there's pedestrians or there's congested or there's merging or there's a middle turn lane like there is here on Van Dyke, that increase can make a significant impact in your ability to safely maneuver your vehicle.
Now, sometimes people will tell the officers, I just didn't know it was 35 miles an hour here. Their argument to that is that many of the newer vehicles have the speed limit right in front of you.
It's never been easier to know the speed limit than it has been now. With Google traffic and Waze, the speed limits are very, very transparent now.
People just care where they have to be. They don't care that you need to watch out for everybody else, and everybody has somewhere they have to be.
And do you have a danger zone in your community? We do want to hear from you. Scan the QR code that's up on your screen right now, or head over to clickondetroit.com to send us a tip. It can be a problem with speeding or another dangerous driving issue. Let us know and we will check it out. When we come back here on Local 4 Live, we're going to continue to follow that breaking news. The FBI saying that a terrorist attack has been thwarted here in Metro Detroit. In fact, Dearborn and in Inkster. We're going to take you to those scenes live when we come back.
Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Well, that breaking news here on Friday morning. The FBI saying they have thwarted a potential terror attack here in Michigan. Here's everything we know right now. The FBI Director Kash Patel is saying multiple suspects were arrested for plotting a violent attack over this Halloween weekend. The FBI Detroit office saying that the FBI has been in both Dearborn and Inkster this morning. Dearborn police putting out an update on Facebook about 45 minutes ago saying they were made aware of FBI operations in the city earlier this morning, and sources say Dearborn police are assisting the FBI with this investigation. They say there is no threats to the community. I want to show you some live pictures that we have right now in two different Dearborn neighborhoods. This one here is near Tireman and Warren. We don't know exactly what the connection is, but you can see there are investigators working in the backyard of this home. We have been told again that multiple arrests have been made after the FBI thwarted this violent attack that would have happened over this holiday weekend. You can see federal investigators, you can see right there with an FBI vest on. We also have another live scene we can take you to. So this one here is at Tireman and Schaefer. Tireman and Warren. This one is at Ford and Schaefer, which is about 2 miles apart. As you can see there, the Michigan State Police also investigating, helping with this. And as you just saw, an investigator walking out of that home as well. We heard earlier some scanner audio of residents that were calling in, hearing loud noises, what they thought were gunshots, likely flashbangs, as the FBI and federal investigators likely raiding these homes within the past couple of hours. So you've got at least two different scenes in the Dearborn area. And then we also have another location in Inkster. We don't have any live video of that, but we do have a third location in the Inkster area. Exactly what this was, we don't know yet, but the FBI director, again, Kash Patel, is saying that we will get more details throughout the day as to what type of plot they have put together, or I should say what they thwarted. But we do know that it was supposed to be a violent terrorist attack that would have happened during this Halloween weekend. Again, what it was, we don't know, but it certainly likely has some kind of connection to the two homes we've just been showing you. We're going to keep an eye on this all morning long to see what details come out of it, and we'll keep our crews at all of those scenes to see what details we can get from the investigators that are working there on the ground as well, to better understand what is happening, what they are working on, and again, what attack they were able to thwart that, according to the FBI, would have been a violent attack over this weekend. We'll bring you updates here on Local 4 Plus and on our homepage at clickondetroit.com. We're also sending push alerts to your mobile devices, so the moment we get any new information, you will have that in the palm of your hand the second that we know it. In the meantime, thank you for being here on a Friday. We have lots of other big news happening right now. Here's what else we're working on. In a matter of hours, millions of families will not be able to access their SNAP benefits because of the federal government shutdown, how the state is preparing for this, and how the community is jumping in to help. And then we're talking about daylight saving time. And Detroiters are picking their next mayor for the week, next week, I should say. You're going to hear from the candidates about how they want to invest in neighborhoods. Plus, as we just talked about, we're going to roll back the clocks, but the end of daylight saving time has a real impact on our health. A doctor from Henry Ford is going to join us to talk about all of that. Let's get to your news headlines, starting with the federal government shutdown. It's about to have a much bigger impact on millions of people with SNAP benefits set to expire at midnight. The shutdown is about to enter a second month with neither chamber of Congress in session today. President Donald Trump overnight throwing a major curveball into this, calling on Republicans to go for the, quote, nuclear option to get rid of the filibuster and get rid of it now. Doing that would let GOP members pass a short-term funding bill to reopen the government with a simple 50-vote majority instead of the 60 that's needed right now. The Senate's top Republican has pushed back against this, urging more Democrats to cross over and back the bill. Democratic leadership is holding firm on restoring health care provisions, though, first. Now, there has been more pressure this week to reopen the government because those benefits are going to run out. More than 1.4 million Michiganders are SNAP recipients, and there is some relief on the way, though, at least to food banks. Yesterday, Governor Gretchen Whitmer announced $4.5 million to the Food Bank Council of Michigan. That money will help the council get a boost to food banks across the state. In the last hour, we talked to Dr. Elizabeth Hertel with the state's Health and Human Services Department on the change that families are bracing for.
They will have whatever is left on their EBT card. They can use whatever is left on their EBT card. We also have access to the Double Up Food Bucks, which is a program through the Department of Agriculture through a grant that is been extended, so there is no limit on what people can double up, and they can use those benefits on we've expanded that to frozen vegetables and other types of things to help increase the amount of dollars that people have to purchase healthy food. But after those benefits are gone, if people have them, we will not be getting further funding transferred from the federal government at this point for SNAP benefits.
Right. I know there obviously is the lawsuit right now. Is there anything the state can do in terms of adding more of its own money into those accounts?
States can use their state dollars to do that. Whether or not we have the funding available in Michigan, I'm not sure. I don't believe that we do at this point, but we continue to look for options, again, internally to see how we might be able to supplement access to healthy food, whether that's through food banks or trying to connect philanthropy and other donors to those sorts of access points.
Now, I just want to highlight something she said there. If you have a balance left on your EBT card, you can continue to use that. It's just there will not be any more money put into that account. For the past week, we have been talking with people and agencies in our communities about how they're going to manage if no deal is reached by midnight. The conversations continue in Southwest Detroit. That's where our Armand Fernandez talked to neighbors and a local food distributor who are trying to meet this increasing demand.
You know, over the past week, we've been traveling to communities across Metro Detroit to talk to families about how the federal pause on SNAP benefits will impact their families. Well, our most recent conversation took us over to Southwest Detroit, where neighbors are helping one another.
All the way up.
In trying times,
Move 'em up. Just keep them moving.
community kicks into action.
Here comes the rain. Let's rock this out.
That's long been the mission for Jessica Ramirez and volunteers, with Detroiters helping each other. The Southwest Detroit-based grassroots organization is busy helping deliver food to neighbors whose SNAP benefits have been cut off for November, knowing many families are stressed.
How many kids?
Just the normal cost of fruits and veggies are as much as a pack of meats now, and families are worried, are like, how are they going to provide a full course meal for their families?
A variety of fresh produce and breads are placed into each car lining Pearl Street. Working parents like Norca Vargas are checking local food pantry lists.
And I just choose whatever I go and I go pick food.
She says times are tough and losing SNAP benefits will hurt.
Oh my God, it will be hard because I got 2 kids. So I had to trash now everything because I pick rent, I pay everything in the house.
And the looming SNAP cuts will have a multi-layered impact. Chad Techner is founder and CEO of Metro Food Rescue.
We have been receiving calls from so many agencies looking for more food and looking for more help. All of our agency partners are looking for more food because they're expecting demand to just go through the roof next week. With SNAP benefits being cut, it's just going to be hard for people, even in the short term, to be able to afford their groceries, and that's going to put a major strain on the charitable food system.
Detroiters Helping Each Other says right now, it's about community stepping up to help neighbors through vulnerable times.
What do you expect is going to be the reality in the coming weeks and days?
Ooh, that's a good one. Reality of it is a lot of people are going to start getting mad. My worry is the holiday time when the kids are home from school.
Now, those neighbors told us there are several ways that community members can step up and help out. Metro Food Rescue says it could sure use some volunteers to help sort foods and some people with trucks who could help with logistics. Detroiters Helping Each Other says it could definitely use some volunteers and donations of fresh meat. I'm Armand Fernandez, Local 4.
Devon, thank you, sir. If you are looking to volunteer or drop off any donations that'll go to a family in need, check out this story on our website at clickondetroit.com. We've got all the information you need if you'd like to lend a helping hand. The Oakland County Sheriff's Office is investigating reports of a suspicious person near an elementary school. According to the sheriff, somebody dressed in an all-black wearing a ski mask was spotted near 2 bus stops in Highland Township. Huron Valley Schools alerted families by email. Sheriff Michael Bouchard is encouraging families to talk to their kids about stranger danger. Today, deputies will be patrolling the bus route during pickup and drop-off. In Warren, police officers are getting a new way to get around parks and events with big crowds. You're going to soon see them on these new trike scooters. It's going to make it easier for them to patrol places their cruisers can't get through. There's 4 scooters bought with the state fund. They can go up to 35 miles per hour and will have emergency lights and sirens. Well, as you know, it's Halloween, but one area is pushing off things until tomorrow. This is a live look at Marine City in St. Clair County. They have decided to move their trick-or-treating hours to tomorrow night from 5 to 8. The mayor says this is because of a high school playoff game that's also happening tonight. Marine City's varsity football team is taking on Clawson at 7 o'clock. The decision is getting some mixed reaction from people online, though. We've compiled a list of trick-or-treating times at spots all around Metro Detroit. You can check that out right now at clickondetroit.com. Well, you might have mixed feelings about it. This weekend, you are going to get an extra hour of sleep, but we know that also comes with more darkness around this time. It's also time to turn back the clock. So we're going to talk about how that change can impact your health with a neurologist from Henry Ford Health. Welcome back, everybody. So there is a lot of conversation right now about daylight saving time. Everyone's got an opinion. We're going to roll back the clock back an hour on Sunday at 2 o'clock in the morning. That means an extra hour of sleep this weekend, but it also means earlier sunsets. Now, 2 states do not observe daylight saving time in Hawaii and Arizona, and there's been a lot of talk about getting rid of it, but to be able to do it, Congress would have to pass federal legislation. A new AP NORC poll finds only about 12% of adults are in favor of daylight saving time. 47% are opposed and 40% are neutral. The time change can also impact our health. To talk more about that, we're joined now by Ashar Ali, Dr. Ashar Ali, a neurologist at Henry Ford Health. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate your time. There's been lots of studies, lots of reports, but lay it out for us. Is this actually bad for us?
You know, it's kind of a mixed picture, and from a brain perspective in particular, the brain is, particularly sensitive to changes in schedule. So you can almost think about a time change being like a sort of a mini jet lag. And because the brain is what controls our circadian rhythm and our sleep-wake cycles, sometimes if there's a change in that, it can cause, a bit of disruption in our neuronal function, which can affect certain states and certain diseases, can sometimes worsen when the time changes.
So that's a temporary thing. It sounds like. Any long-term effects?
Doesn't seem like there's any long-term effects. I mean, all the studies so far that show any changes or some worsening tend to be just in the first week, maybe 2 after, but most are within the first 3 to 5 days where we get acclimated after that.
Gotcha. So what's your advice then for people who are trying to avoid those kind of issues and symptoms?
Yeah, I mean, for people that struggle with certain neurologic disorders, for diseases such as either migraine or sleep disorders or even mental health related disorders, just being aware that there could be a shift early on, I think is probably the most important thing that they can do. Knowing that in the evening hours, especially with this time change, that I'm going to be a little bit more fatigued, maybe a decreased level of alertness, a little bit of brain fog, especially in the evening hours, and just being mindful of that. Maybe that's not the right time for me to go out and drive. And then knowing that I'm going to be more awake in the morning because, the sun's going to rise a little bit earlier, taking advantage of that. And so the advice would be to make sure that you get some sunlight nice and early in the morning so that your circadian rhythm and the clock in the brain can sort of reset itself according to, what's going to come.
And I would assume that, or maybe I'm wrong here, you're the doctor, but I would assume that there are probably more issues when we lose that hour versus gaining it.
Yeah, so, well, it's interesting. Most studies show that changes in health, negative changes in health happen in the springtime when we spring forward. And in particular, there's a slight increased risk of stroke that can happen in that first week after, many sleep disorders as well. In fact, what's interesting is when the time changes in the fall and we sort of get that extra hour of sleep, migraine actually improves for the first week after, which is pretty unique. But yeah, most of the sort of negative impacts, you can say, tend to happen in the springtime when we spring forward.
Yeah. Okay, Doctor, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you on this Halloween.
Absolutely.
Take care. When we come back, we're going to have an update on that breaking news of the morning. A terror attack thwarted in Dearborn and Inkster. A live update and live pictures from those scenes when we come back.
We interrupt this program with a special report from Local 4 News.
And we are interrupting right now because of this breaking news. The FBI saying they have thwarted a terror attack in Metro Detroit. You're looking live right now at FBI agents working in Dearborn at 2 different locations. Our crews are at both of those scenes right now. This is a neighborhood near Tireman and Warren in Dearborn. You can see a very active investigation with agents both in front and back of the home and likely inside as well.
And not far from there is a second scene also in Dearborn. That neighborhood is in the area of Ford Road and Schaefer Road. There you see the home. At this moment, we do not know how these scenes are connected to the investigation, but we are working to get those answers.
And honestly, we don't know what type of attack this was or any of the details. All we know is what the FBI Director Kash Patel has been saying, that this would have been a serious and violent attack that would have happened over this Halloween weekend. I do want to show you a map to give you a better idea of where these two scenes are, at least in the city of Dearborn. There's, again, a neighborhood at Tireman and Warren, and one near Ford and Schaefer. Both are in Dearborn, but there is a third scene in the city of Inkster right now. We don't have any details on that, nor do we have a crew there just yet.
But as we mentioned, we did hear from the FBI director, so we want to bring you up to speed on what we do know and can confirm right now about this thwarted attack.
The FBI director is saying they have multiple suspects in custody arrested for plotting this violent attack over the holiday weekend. The FBI Detroit office says the FBI was in both Dearborn and Inkster this morning. Dearborn police say they were made aware of FBI operations in the city earlier this morning, and sources say Dearborn police are assisting the FBI in this investigation. We also saw from one of those live pics earlier the Michigan State Police there assisting as well. So multiple agencies involved in now this federal investigation that, again, has thwarted a violent terrorist attack in Dearborn and Inkster.
And we are working to get more information. Obviously, if you live in any of these areas, this is a very tense and scary time, but the huge police presence and the fact that the FBI is saying that they've thwarted this attack is a hopeful sign.
Right.
Shante Passmore just arrived on the scene of one of the homes that was raided at Ford Road and Schaefer. Shante, what have you been able to find out?
Well, as you just mentioned, Nick and Rhonda, we got here moments ago, and we are seeing a response from the state and federal level when it comes to law enforcement. MSP is here assisting in this investigation. We just had another cruiser pull up, but from my vantage point, I can see on scene here, we have the FBI evidence response team, and the focus of this investigation would be the home right there in front of your screens right there. We have been seeing agents coming in and out of that home looking for evidence. It is not clear just yet what it is that they are looking for, and so many questions at this hour, as you can imagine. But if you're just joining us again, a quick recap, what we know so far. FBI agents spent the morning in Dearborn and Inkster conducting law enforcement activities. FBI Director Kash Patel wrote on X, multiple people were arrested for allegedly plotting a violent attack over the Halloween weekend. And authorities say right now at this moment, there is no current threat to public safety. And again, just thinking about the different questions that we have here for investigators, how many people were involved in the raids happening here this morning? And also, what was the nature of the foil attack and where it was supposed to happen? But of course, we'll remain here on scene until we get more information to pass on to you. And of course, on clickondetroit.com. We're live in Dearborn this morning. I'm Shante Passmore, Local 4.
All right, Shante, thank you so much. I do want to point out here that the investigation clearly focusing on these homes in Dearborn and Inkster. What we don't know is what the targets of this attack could have been. It could have been in those cities. It could have been somewhere else in Metro Detroit. So there's a good possibility that they're focusing their investigation at those homes because that's where the suspects either were working or lived, but it doesn't mean that those attacks that were planned would have targeted or attacked those specific communities.
But you talk to anybody that lives in that community and you are certainly nervous right now. If that's one of your neighbors, if you live on Hoger Street in Dearborn in the area of Tireman and Warren where Shante is, I was just thinking about what if that was my next door neighbor? I live across the street. So certainly some very nervous moments right now as we try to get more information, but certainly knowing that the FBI investigators were on top of this and that there was a credible threat and they were able to thwart off that is a hopeful sign. Again, there are 3 locations that this is happening at, not just here that you're looking at where our live camera crews are, but there's another location in Inkster. How this is all connected, as you said, Nick, we're still
trying to
waiting to figure out.
I do want to mention that earlier in the newsroom here, we did hear some reports from residents in those areas saying that they thought they heard gunshots and saw drones in the area. What those residents likely heard were probably flashbangs that the investigators would have used to go into those homes as they were raiding them. So we haven't heard anything officially from either the federal investigators or local police about what's happened, what arrests have been made, what happened in those homes. But normally a procedure like this, when you do this kind of raid earlier in the morning when you're trying to catch people off guard, would be to throw flashbangs inside of a home home. And I can tell you from being on scenes during situations just like this, those flashbangs do sound exactly like gunshots.
They absolutely do. If you're joining us just now wondering what's going on, you can see there on your screen the FBI is reporting that they have thwarted a potential terror attack and that they have arrested multiple people here in Michigan, and that includes people in this Dearborn neighborhood in the area of Tyerman and Warren, another Dearborn neighborhood in the area of Ford Road and Schaefer, and also another neighborhood in Inkster where this same huge police presence is playing out.
And it's worth pointing out, one of our directors that works here grew up in that area and mentioned that both of these locations are all by schools. So I'm sure there's a lot of concern as well with the Dearborn Public Schools about what's happening there. The FBI and Dearborn police specifically saying there is no threat to the community, so there should be no concern there. But I promise you, if I am a mom or a dad or anybody caring for kids that are in that area, just know that Dearborn police saying everything is safe after they have taken people into custody already.
Well, that is certainly some welcome news to hear. And of course, if there is any threat or any concern, there's always procedures in place with schools to lock them down, not let anyone in or out. We're not hearing anything like that. So no concern there, no need to show up at your child's school. But again, a huge police presence. There you see fully in uniform with weapons in a neighborhood in Dearborn as there is a search taking place inside of this home on Hogarth Street. This is in the area of Tyerman and Warren, but you can see FBI agents on the scene, state police, Dearborn police as well. And as Shante mentioned, at least what she's been observing while standing there in the neighborhood is seeing many agents going in and out of this home.
Right. I do want to kind of back up and get you up to speed on how we got to this point so far. This all started with a tweet from the FBI Director Kash Patel saying that the FBI was able to thwart a violent attack, a plan that was targeting the Metro Detroit area that would have been over this Halloween weekend. The FBI Detroit office saying that the FBI was and is, as you can see live here, in both Dearborn and Inkster this morning. Dearborn police again saying that they were made aware of FBI operations and in the city, and sources say that they are still investigating. But as you can see from these live pictures here, Michigan State Police on the scene, FBI officers and agents on the scene. We saw other locals on the scene as well. This continues to evolve live in front of us here. Again, we do not know what the threat was, what that plan was, but thank goodness the FBI is saying they were able to rip it apart and thwart it before anything bad happened.
Absolutely. And when you hear potential terrorist attack and that it's been thwarted, it's a sigh of relief, but also certainly makes you nervous knowing it's something so close to home. We are going to be streaming live over on Local 4 Plus. In fact, we are right now, but we wanted to break into programming here through the Today Show to just give you an update on what's happening. If you're not joining us on Local 4 Plus, we'll continue to keep you updated there on the other side of this break.
For the latest information as it happens on this story, go to clickondetroit.com. We now return you to regularly scheduled programming. Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
To follow that breaking news here in the Local 4 newsroom of the FBI thwarting a violent terrorist attack that would have happened here in Metro Detroit over this Halloween weekend. Dearborn police also confirming they are involved in this investigation. Our crews are currently at 2 different scenes right now. This is a neighborhood near Tireman and Warren. The actual street is Middle Point in Dearborn. We have a second scene that we can show you as well. This is near Ford and Schaefer. This is on Hoger, also in the city of Dearborn, but there is a third scene as well somewhere in the city of Inkster that we are aware of. I do want to point out, and this is critical, that the attack that was planned and thwarted by the FBI, we're not saying that these communities, these cities are the ones that were targeted. All we know right now is that this is where the current investigation is. So there's a good chance the homes that you're looking at live right now with FBI investigators and state police investigators and others, locals, working inside these homes, there's a strong possibility that those that have been arrested that are accused of planning this terrorist attack were either living inside of these homes or working inside of these homes. We don't know what the attack was actually planned for and what communities or cities or areas they were targeting. All we know is that that's where the investigation currently stands, as you've got multiple investigators in multiple different areas around the area, around Metro Detroit, I should say. I do want to show you a map of where these 2 specific areas are. Again, as you see, Middle Point Street and Hoger, which are, as you can see, about 2 miles apart, very close in proximity to each other in the area of Dearborn. I also know there are schools very close to those areas as well. So anybody who has children that go to schools in that area, please know that the Dearborn Police Department has said there is not a threat to anybody in the community, so you don't have to go pick up your children. Nobody is in danger at this point. The FBI, Michigan State Police, and local police do have it under control. We do want to get an update on everything that we know as of this moment right now. All of this started with the FBI director saying multiple suspects were arrested for plotting a violent attack over this Halloween weekend. The FBI Detroit office saying the FBI was in, actually still is, as you saw there, in both Dearborn and Inkster. Dearborn police saying they were made aware of FBI operations in the city earlier this morning, and sources say that Dearborn police are assisting in the FBI in this investigation as well. We also know Michigan State Police are there as well. Shantae Passmore is at one of the scenes right now on Hoger. She's only been there for about 5 or 10 minutes, so I know, Shantae, it's very difficult to get a grasp on what's happening when you're just rushing there, but at the very least, you can tell us what you see and who's there.
Right, so that's correct, Nick. So we've been here for maybe, 15, 20 minutes or so. And to give you a better idea, of course, we're right near Schaefer and Ford Roads. We're actually right next to Fortson High School. So just imagine this. This is a residential area. A lot of people starting their morning with noticing the presence of FBI agents here, as well as MSP. And so we have been seeing agents going in and out of this home right there on your screens. It's unclear at this moment what exactly they are looking for, what is the nature of the foiled terrorist attack, but there's been a lot of commotion at this particular home, neighbors looking on nearby. And I also have to point out here, we've got some neighbors who are, again, looking to see what is happening here, but nearly every single home on this block has at least one car here, telling you that there are families home right now as this is happening this Friday morning. And so we are waiting to learn more information, of course, but a quick recap of what we know. If you're just joining us again this morning, FBI agents, were told, spent the morning in Dearborn and Inkster conducting law enforcement activities. And this all came down. We also learned more from FBI Director Kash Patel, who wrote on X that multiple people were arrested for allegedly plotting a violent attack over the Halloween weekend. And if there's a silver lining, I can say there is no current threat to public safety. But again, so many questions. When we think about multiple people arrested, how many people exactly? What was the nature of this supposed terrorist attack? And then, of course, where was this intended to happen here? A lot of things we are waiting to learn to unpack right now from authorities. But we'll think things over to you, Nick.
the community. Normally, when there is a crime scene like that, there would be police tape blocks all around the area. The fact that you're right in front of that home tells me, I'm assuming there isn't any, which that makes me assume that the police don't think that there is any imminent threat right there as well.
And that's a great observation, Nick, because I was actually surprised to see how close we could walk up to where all of this was going down. And really, there's maybe maybe a handful of MSP cruisers nearby. But again, FBI agents coming in and out of there doesn't negate the seriousness of this investigation whatsoever. But I think it kind of speaks to the sentiment or the tone of the investigation as far as where we are based on how they got this credible tip, followed through, did the raids, and now we're here at this hour.
Right. Okay. Shantae, thank you so very much for that update. And I do want to just kind of highlight that point there, as Shantae was just mentioning that both the Dearborn Police Department and the FBI saying that there is no current threat to the community. So whatever this terrorist attack was that the FBI thwarted is now under control, and there is no threats to anybody in those communities. I do want to kind of give you another glance at some of the other scenes that we have here. As you saw there, Shantae is on Hoger, which is in the Ford and Schaefer area. We also have this other scene, which is on Middle Point in another area of Dearborn. I'm going to go back to my notes here to remember exactly where that is. That is at Tireman and Warren in Dearborn. You can see this is a little more active in terms of federal agents that are outside of the home. We've seen that one agent there off on the left-hand side of your screen standing on the front lawn that has been kind of posted up there since we started bringing you this coverage, now talking to another FBI agent. But again, you can tell just by their demeanor that there is no active threat in that area as well. I also want to point out something we mentioned during when we broke in during the Today Show and also here streaming on Local 4 Plus, that just because, wow, that's a lot of investigators moving towards, and now I see a jacket that says JTIF. We're going to have to look to see what that acronym stands for in terms of federal investigators. Normally, you'd see FBI, ATF, things like that. We'll do a quick newsroom search here and see what JTIF stands for. But what I was mentioning, as they're looking in the garage there, looking for evidence or looking for whatever is part of this terrorist attack that was thwarted by the FBI. Again, we're not saying that the communities of Dearborn and Inkster were the targets of this plan. What we do know is that it appears that this is where the residents were or the attackers, the people who've been arrested, were either living or working. Thank you to producer Mary who looked this up. That stands for the Joint Terrorism Task Force. So that's somebody else that's working there. You can see now it appears they are collecting evidence from the garage of this home, stacking boxes or trying to get to other areas of that garage as they move all those boxes out of the way. Again, this is all unfolding. You're watching live happening right now. There again is that acronym we were just talking about, the Joint Terrorism Task Force. We are going to continue monitoring this to see what is going to unfold here in the last, it started about an hour ago. As we continue to get more information here into the newsroom, we're going to bring it to you here on Local 4 Plus, streaming on Click on Detroit as well. But main thing, just to point out one more time, the FBI thwarting this attack and saying nobody in our community is in danger. We'll be right back. Yep, thank you. We're continuing to follow this breaking news from the FBI saying that a terrorist's plot has been thwarted. An attack has been thwarted that would have targeted a community here in Metro Detroit. You're looking live right now in the area of Tyerman and Warren in Dearborn as investigators are actively searching both this home and the garage. In fact, I'm not sure if the photographer working that camera can hear me, but if we can zoom back in, I'd like to see back inside of that garage if we can, or if our director can give them that note. We'd like to see inside the garage again. What you saw there were FBI and Joint Terrorism Task Force members moving boxes and starting to collect evidence in that garage. You can see there is an evidence technician with a camera that will be taking photos inside of the home as they, again, collect all of that evidence. This is one location that the FBI and investigators are working at. There is another one in the area of Fort and Schaefer in Dearborn. There is another one in the city of Inkster as well. And again, we're not saying that these communities are the ones that they were targeting in this attack that was thwarted. We just know that the suspects that were arrested likely either living in these homes in this area or working out of those. I do want to show you what the FBI said earlier this morning. It was a tweet from the FBI Director Kash Patel saying that agents thwarted an attack and arrested multiple people. We expect more information to come out soon. We're going to stay on top of it, of course, on air, online here on Local 4 Plus and streaming at clickondetroit.com. Also, make sure you've got your phones in your hand because we're going to be pushing alerts to you. As soon as we get any kind of new information, we're going to send that to you so you know as soon as we do. Something else that we are keeping an eye on, though, on top of all of this is your forecast. I know it's Halloween. I know a lot of you are wondering what tonight is going to be like if you've got some trick-or-treating planned. So here's Brian with that forecast.
Happy Halloween, everybody. I'm forewarned meteorologist Brian Sherman. Looking ahead through the end of the week here on Friday, we are going to keep a little more cloud cover into the forecast throughout the day, although we will see some sunshine through the morning into the early afternoon. I am going to bring the chance of a few rain showers in, looking ahead to start the weekend on Saturday before a little more sunshine rolls in by the end of the weekend on Sunday. A chilly start for this Halloween across the board for the majority of southeastern Michigan. Mid to upper 30s, even a few lower 40s showing up as you're waking up early this morning, and we will keep things seasonable but chilly as we head into the afternoon. Dry weather sticks around for the end of the week here on Friday. I'm watching an area of low pressure working off to the north and east up toward portions of Vermont into Maine. Some of that cloud cover on the backside of it here spilling right into southeastern Michigan. So while we start the day with sunshine, we will bring more cloud cover in as we go through the afternoon and evening hours tonight. Clouds and radar forecast agrees with this. Increasing cloud cover through the afternoon into the early evening hours tonight, but we stay dry all the way through the overnight into early on Saturday morning. 7:15 on Saturday morning. While we start the day dry, clouds and radar forecast is not as zealous with the rain showers than I would look to see for Saturday. 11:45 in the morning, a few rain showers possible. I don't think this is going to be a widespread event to start the weekend, but we will need to hold on to the umbrella just in case. But any rain showers wind down by 8 to 9 o'clock on Saturday night. We'll go partly cloudy overnight, and we will keep some of that cloud cover with some sunshine into the forecast by the end of the weekend on Sunday. Winds will continue to be breezy for the rest of the day today, gusting upwards of 25 to 30 miles an hour, especially through the rest of the afternoon and into the evening hours tonight. But once we get past 8 to 10 o'clock tonight, I am expecting those winds to start to slack off just a little bit into the overnight hours and into the start of the weekend on Saturday. We'll top out at 54 this afternoon, a mixture of sunshine and clouds up into early this afternoon. Then we start to increase that cloud cover, and it'll be breezy. Northwest wind 10 to 20 miles an hour, gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour for much of the day today. So it's going to make it feel just a tad bit chillier than it actually is outside. And then we go into trick-or-treating tonight. We'll keep mostly cloudy skies into the forecast. It will be drier, but it will be breezy. So again, you may need that jacket on top of that Halloween costume if you are going to be doing that trick-or-treating heading into the late evening hours tonight. Holding on to a few showers tomorrow, but then Sunday morning at 2 a.m., daylight saving time comes to an end. We will fall back 1 hour early on Sunday morning, giving us that extra hour of sleep. We will see some sunshine for the end of the weekend on Sunday before another round of rain showers moves in to start the week on Monday, but then some sunshine moves in on Tuesday, and we keep a mixture of sunshine and clouds into the forecast. High highs dropping into the mid-50s by the time we get to next Thursday.
All right, Brian, thank you so much. We're going to take a short break here. When we come back, we're going to recap this breaking news and this terrorist plot that was thwarted by the FBI that was targeting somewhere here in Metro Detroit. Breaking news this morning across Dearborn and across Metro Detroit. The FBI executing raids at least 2 homes in Dearborn and likely also one in Inkster. We're told by the FBI this is connected to a thwarted terror plot. You're looking at the 2 locations on your screen right now. One of them is at Horger, which is close to Fort and Schaefer in Dearborn. The other one is on Middle Point, closer to Tyerman and Warren. In fact, that is the live picture we are showing you right now. That home has been raided by federal and local investigators, the FBI, the Joint Terrorism Task Force also here. Michigan State Police is involved, as well as the Dearborn Police Department, at least in these 2 homes. What we do know, again, is that this was supposed to be a violent terrorist attack that was foiled by the FBI that would have been targeting some place in Metro Detroit over this Halloween weekend. What that is or where it would have been, we do not know right now. All we know is that the FBI is saying that they thwarted this attack, and the Dearborn Police Department saying that there is no threat to that community. So again, you're looking at one of the homes where we are told that suspects in this have been arrested and taken into custody. I believe that's one of the places that those suspects were. I do want to show you a second home as well. This is the area of Fort and Schaefer on Hoger Road. A little more active here. Michigan State Police outside, FBI agents on the front lawn, and there are also also been investigators and evidence technicians working in the garage area, as well as our cameras move and zoom in to the back area. You can see an FBI evidence technician and somebody that was earlier wearing a jacket that said JTTF, which we know now stands for the Joint Terrorism Task Force, as they were moving those boxes and collecting evidence, and they had their cameras out and they were taking photos there. Again, a thwarted attack, a terror attack in Metro Detroit. Where it was, we do not know. We do have more information from the FBI, a tweet from the FBI Director Kash Patel saying this was thwarted. It happened at about, the information came to us at about 7:30 this morning, and we're hoping for more details later on throughout the day. We are going to take a short break, and when we come back, in fact, there you can see that tweet right now. We're going to take that short break. When we come back, we're going to reset, get some of our live reporters in front of those cameras to give you an update on what things are looking like and who they're able to talk to and what those scenes look like in those two different locations in Dearborn. Breaking news in the area of Dearborn and Inkster, looking live right now in the area of Fort and Schaefer. This is on Hoger in Dearborn. The FBI thwarting an attack that suspects were arrested here in the Michigan area in Dearborn. We don't know, though, what that attack would have been targeting. I do want to get out live to Shantae Passmore, who is live at a second location in Dearborn where there's also activity. Shantae, what can you see from where you're at?
Well, Nick, we are still here near Schaefer and Ford Roads, right next door to the Fortson High School. I actually spoke to a couple of neighbors before going on air with you, and just to kind of get a gauge as far as what they heard here. One person telling me it was actually his wife who heard a loud boom. And from what we've been telling our viewers, if they've been following along, it is more than likely flashbangs, what they heard, in trying to get the people to come out. Meanwhile, another interesting development, we actually saw a woman come out with an agent, an FBI agent, after, of course, having gone inside earlier, and it's not clear if she lives here, if she knows the people who were arrested from this particular location, or what sort of credible information she may have in this investigation. But right now at this hour, we still have a response, of course, from state, and federal law enforcement, MSP here as well, helping with the FBI. They have the evidence response team, and the focal point of this investigation is right here on your screens, this home where they've been coming in and out, but no clear word just yet what sort of evidence they're looking for. And we have been told by authorities that they had arrested multiple people, but no exact number as far as what that was. And also, of course, we've been talking about how this terrorist attack was foiled, but a lot of unanswered questions. Here we go. We have someone who looks like he's about to enter into the home there. As far as a lot of questions as far as where was this target attack was supposed to happen. But reporting live with the very latest, Shantae Passmore, Local 4.
All right, Shantae, thank you very much for that update. And that's an important update as we hear now from residents who heard what originally they thought was gunshots, actually more than likely flashbangs, as those federal investigators went in to arrest those suspects who, again, accused of plotting a terrorist attack in the Michigan area. We are going to take a short break here on Local 4 Plus. We are going to give you a live update on air. Rhonda's going to join me so we can talk through exactly what we know kind of minute by minute as things come into the newsroom. We'll be right back.